Shalom, shalom. It's the brother Kazawan.
Shalom, this is brother Shema.
Your mic might be muted or something or messed up. But that's the mighty brother Shema all.
You can hear me?
We're gonna get straight into it, right? We're gonna give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Mashiach, Malaki Yahweh Shai, right? And we want to, get a strong shalom to the brothers and sisters out there. They pushing this word and they doing the work of the Lord every single day, day in and day out, and they enduring, right? Nonetheless, right? We're gonna get straight into this video, right? It's the world or the truth, right? You got to choose one, right? You got to know what you want to do, right? You got to know if you're gonna go to the world or if you're gonna be in this truth, man, right? Because a lot of people, they don't know what they want, right? They kind of want to be in the world, but then they kind of want to be in the truth. They kind of want to be in the truth, but then they tarrying around, not keeping the commandments, right? They falling away, right? So we're gonna get straight into this video, right? And break down what you need to be doing in the last days, right? What you need to, how you need to move and how you need to walk in these last days. What your mentality needs to be in these last days when it comes to being in this truth, right? Because a lot of people they start to wax worse or not want to do the work or get tired, right? Because they forget what it takes. They forget their motivation and they the end goal, right? And they fall away from their first love, right? But let me get this quick precept in Sirach, the 19th chapter. Wonder if they can hear me.
You can hear me, King?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry, the 19th chapter and the 18th verse, right? It says, the fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him, and wisdom obtaineth his love, right? So you got to fear the Lord first. Right? That's what it takes, right? If you fear the Lord, you're never going to stop grinding for the Lord. You're never going to stop working, or you're never going to tarry around and become lukewarm and just want to fall away and go into the truth. Go into the world. That's what people do. They literally put themselves in these positions because they don't want to do the work no more, right? So the fear of the Lord is the first step to always being on fire, to always enduring, right? To always growing and increasing and making sure that you separate yourself from the world and that you constantly, bring yourself closer to the Most High in this truth. Right? Says the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please Him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. Right? So you gotta do the things that please the Lord. Now, the Lord, is He pleased in homosexuality and cigarettes, damn Super Bowls and damn shooting dice? No, the Lord He's the light. He delights in you keeping His commandments and moving in the spirit of wisdom, move and having the fruits of the spirit, and always hating evil, right? Hating the wickedness of this world. He delights in, right? That's the stuff that pleases Him. Faith pleases Him, right? If you don't have faith and you don't have works, you can't please the Lord. You won't receive the fruit of the tree of immortality, right? So the Lord is all wisdom, and all wisdom is the performance of the law and the knowledge of His omnipotency. Right? And you have to perform the law, right? Because the fear of the Lord that means you have faith first off, right? And you're going to get wisdom from that. And that wisdom is going to push you to keep the commandments, right? But you got it, King. I got to do something.
God, yeah. The fear of the Lord, that's really the first step, man. How to fear the Lord. I'm gonna bring out Psalms chapter 86 and verse 11, right? And if you don't know how to fear the Lord, pray for that. You may be, getting weary. You may think this is repetitive, right? You don't want to read no more. God forbid that you don't even want to put on fringes anymore, right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 86, verse 11. It says, teach me thy way, O Lord. I will walk in thy truth. Unite my heart to fear thy name. Because if you lose in fear of the Lord, you need to pray for that. Get that motivation back. Get that confidence back, right? Get your faith back in the Most High. And ultimately, if you lose in faith and fear of the Most High, what are you missing? I mean, what are you missing in this world to make you even think about it? You know, what do you benefit from the world? Because we came into this truth. I mean, clearly you knew that you wasn't missing out on nothing when you came in this truth. But now you're getting weary, right? You don't want to hit up brothers no more. Brothers asking you, have you read? You lying, talking about you have, right? Brothers see that. Brothers see that on your face if you really actually been doing the work of the Most High. They see if you really don't have faith in the Most High, right? I got another precept. Shalom, Wiz. Right, this is the book of Matthew. I'm gonna go to Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. I'll bring that up. Because what are you missing, man? Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. Because you should pray for that, man. If you lacking in the fear of the Most High, call upon his name, right? It's the book of Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. It says, no man can serve two masters. So if you're thinking about going back into the world, just realize once you go back into that world, you can't come back, right? You can't come back. You can't serve two masters. You can't just have one foot in and then one foot out, right? You go to camp, and then right after camp, you go freak off with your worldly friends, right? Hitting up, talking about some, hey, when the next lick we hitting, when the next party, right? No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other. So are you going to love the Most High and keep his commandments and hate the world? Or are you going to love the world and hate the Most High? Because ultimately, if you go back in the world through the Spirit, you're saying you hate the Most High. You hate his commandments. You hate that you can't lust after Eve. You hate that you can't covet after cars and clothes. You hate the fact that you have to keep the Shabbat, right? Or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. You cannot serve God and the riches of this world. You either serve Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah or the world. Choose one. Brothers got it.
Oh, you got some, Wiz?
Uh-uh.
Let me go to another quick precept in Sirach. I thought this was the Apocrypha. I was really just reading Sirach in this. All right. I'm gonna start at verse 13. Right, this is Sirach chapter 15. Actually, I'm gonna start at verse number 11. Right, it says, "Say not thou, it is through the Lord that I fell away, for thou oughtest not to do the things that he hated." Right, and that's what a lot of people do. Right, they say, "Hey, the Lord just don't want me in the truth." That's what they truly start to think. Right, when they fall away, they like, "Hey, the Lord just don't want me in the truth." Right, it was set up since the foundation of the world. Right, he says that I fell away. No, it's because you're doing the things that the Lord hate. Right, you might be smoking weed, smoking crack, right, down, popping men, down, popping prostitutes, and doing all kinds of madness and wickedness, right? Dealing with Edomites and Hamites and dirty Moabites, right? You just doing all kind of things that the Lord hate, right? So that's why you falling away, right? That's why you playing around and dabbling in the world. You in the club, right? Although it's not a sin, right? But you know it's not wise for you, right? It conjures up all kinds of spirits upon you, right? Now you just dealing with all kinds of worldly spirits, right? And act upon those things the Lord hate. Say not that he hath no need of a sinful man. The Lord hateth all abomination, and they that fear God love it not. Right. So when it comes to being right, you have to fear the Most High, right, and you have to love everything He loves and hate everything He hates. Right. You gotta hate all abomination. Right. Because once you hate abomination, right, you fear the Lord, and make sure that you don't do these things. Right. That's why I was saying it's the first step. So that's what it takes right there. It's to literally hate this world, hate the wickedness that's here. Hate to see the so-called white man on top. Hate to see all the wickedness that's above us, right? hate to see your people in the bottom, right? Because then you're gonna do the things that the Lord wants us to do. Are you gonna give charity? Are you gonna love your brother as yourself? You're not gonna commit adultery, right? You're gonna stop your brother from being angry at another brother, right? You're gonna do all kinds of things to make sure that you know that you lifting up the nation. Right? It says he himself made man from the beginning and left him in the hand of his counsel. If thou wilt to keep the commandments and perform acceptable faithfulness, he have set fire and water before thee. Stretch forth thy hand unto to whether thou wilt. Before man is life and death, and whether him liketh shall be given him. Right? So you got life and death right in front of you. The left hand you got death, the right hand you got life. Right? It's you gotta pick one. Right? You gotta know which one you're gonna choose. Right? Because a lot of people right in the last days, right, they choosing death. They reject the word of God, they reject counsel, they reject keeping these commandments, they reject the faith, they rejecting Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai. Right? And that's why they fall away. That's why they choose the world. Right? Because they don't want to do the things that he said. They want to do all the things that he hate because it make them feel good. It make them feel better. Right? Because it's the works of the flesh. Right? It was a precept I was thinking about, but brothers got it. The brothers on guy, I got the precept now in my head.
You got something with?
You can grab your precept.
I just got
Now you got it.
Yeah. But yeah, Salakia, feed off the brother. I'm gonna bring out Proverbs 8 and verse 13. Salakia, I'm gonna bring out Deuteronomy first. Because you're right, I mean, you got the left-hand side, you got the right-hand side, you gotta choose one. And the most are watching you, which one you choose. They don't think that you have you really don't have no choice. You really don't have no choice because ultimately the Most High already know what you're going to get into, right? Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 19 reads, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. So if you choose the right-hand side, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you may have life. You may live, right? And if you endure to the end, you will get eternal life. Don't forget that when all hell break loose and it's all over and we're ruling, we'll have eternal life. We won't be slothful, right? We will always remember the commandments. No brothers will be killing each other. We will love our sisters, right? We'll be able to spend more time with our kids. The food going to eat is going to be purer than ever. The land is defiled. And you want to go back into the world and eat the wickedest food on earth. You're going to end up eating some chicken. You may eat some ground chicken and there's pork in it. That's what you miss. I mean, it ain't nothing for us to even get out of this world, man. The only thing we can get is the kingdom. And that's what we're striving for, right? I got another precept, Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 13, right? Because with the fear of the Lord, I mean, you have to hate evil. And if you want to dive back into the world, I mean, clearly you love it, man. You like evil, right? Proverbs chapter 18, verse 13, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, arrogancy, in an evil way. So if you know how to fear the Lord, you love the evil way. You love killing your brother, right? You love not keeping the commandments. You love going to parties. You love just sticking mischief and lewdness and imagining wicked things, right? I got another precept, Deuteronomy 12 and 8. Because the Lord said, don't do the things, roughly paraphrasing. I ain't gonna jam it up. I ain't gonna jam it up. Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 8. The Lord says, ye shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. And what we do here. If you already know what Jake does here, man, he freak off every night. I mean, that's all he wants to do is just freak off, man. He just want to freak off. Every man whatsoever right is in his own eyes. I'm gonna read that again. ye shall not do after the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. So if you don't know how to fear the Lord, you love the evil way, and you just want to do whatever right is in your eyes. That's what Jake do in his word. He do whatever is right. Hey man, go. Man, it's cool, bro. Oh, he don't want to kick it with you. Hey, just mess with this girl, man. That's off. That's what you think is right. That's what you love to do, right? And the Most High sees that, right? You tired of having respect towards your brother? I mean, you just a murderer, man. Brothers got it.
I want to get 2 Peter, right? Because Peter really went into it, what it's like to go back into the world after you know better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna start with verse number 20. It's 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 20. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, they are again entangled therein and overcome, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning, right? So Peter said the word pollutions, right? So you got different types of pollution. You got air pollution, you got noise pollution, you got water pollution, right? And it's just dirty. You can't deal with it. You can't drink water with parasites in it. It's polluted, right? And the same goes for the word, because the word is the water that you're supposed to be washed with, right? So if you run into the prophets on the street, whether it's us, IUIC, any other camp who doing the work outside, and they telling you, hey, you can't eat the pork, you know what I'm saying? You can't be dealing with women sexually and not taking care of them. You can't be hating your brother. You can't be gang, but you can't. And you decide after a while of keeping that law that you want to go back into it. Hey, it say your latter end is worse with them than the beginning. So even worse than you was before you knew the truth. Hey, you'll end up, man. We done seen all type of stuff on the street. I mean, we see some crazy stuff week in, week out. I mean, just go to the videos on the channel. You'll see just a 1% of what we get to see, right? And verse 21 is the point. For it had been better for them to not have known the way of righteousness than after they had known it to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them, right? So it say, hey, it was better for you to still be in the world. You know what I'm saying? Still be unclean, not making sure that you clean by the even, according to the scripture. You know what I'm saying? Still be, hey, doing whatever wickedness you was doing in the world, than to do it after you know better, right? And I got another precept. We can go to Ecclesiastes chapter 26 and verse, I want to say 28. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty, and men of understanding that are not set by. And this last one is the one that makes the Lord angry. And one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepares such an one for the sword. So if you come into the truth in any way, shape, or form, whether it's you learn you're an Israelite, you're not a black man, you're not a Hispanic man, you're not a Native American man, or you learn, hey, God never wanted us to eat pork, or you learn, hey, the Lord is not sent but unto the house of Israel. Whatever part of the truth you learn, if you go back on that, you be like some of these other camps teaching that, hey, not Edomites can be saved and all this other stuff. Hey, the Lord said he got the sword prepared for you. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like the sword that a man will prepare for you. He might plot on running in your crib. He might. No, this is the Lord we talking about. Hey, you waking up is a miracle. The Lord can get you in your sleep. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the Lord can give you a disease in your bowels. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord can take your kids from you. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, it's a bunch. We talking about the creator of all things here, right? So this is not something you want to play with, not something you want to take lightly. If you know the truth, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be days, hey, you don't feel like you can keep going. We all go through it, even us on this call. Some days you just like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I can do it another day. But you got to do what you got to do because you was called. You was predestined. I got one more precept and then I'm going to give it up, right? This is Jude chapter 1 and verse number, let me make sure I get this. Verse number 21. Jude 1 and 21. Keep yourselves in the love of Yahweh, looking for the mercy of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach unto eternal life. Right? So you trying to look for, hey, I done messed up. I done did this and that. Sometimes I get wary in the truth. But you got to understand that you might have mercy for the times that you fall short, right? I'm going to keep going. Keep yourselves, and of some have compassion, making a difference. So certain brothers, you got to have compassion on them. They might be going through things you don't know about. You know what I'm saying? Even people in Christianity, they might be a prostitute in the world. They might be a drug dealer in the world, but you don't know. You never know what happened to them. What made them that way, right? Some you got to have compassion on. And others save with fear, pulling them out of the fire, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh. Other people, they should know better. Whether they know the truth or not, they got enough sense to know, you know what, me dealing with this woman sexually and not being with her, telling her, oh, you this, you that, that's probably not the way I should do things. You feel what I'm saying? So don't be that brother who knows better but don't do better. Because like it said in Ecclesiasticus chapter 26 and verse 28, hey, the Lord can prepare the sword for you. But with that, I yield.
No, I got a precept. Yeah, two precepts actually, real quick. Right. Luke 17. Right. Luke 17, verse number 10. Slovakia. Right. I'm gonna start at verse 8. We'll start at verse 7. It says, but which of you having a servant plowing or feeding cattle will say unto him, by and by, when he is come from the field, go and sit down to meat, and will not rather say unto him, make ready wherewith I may sup, and gird thyself and serve me till I have eaten and drunken, and afterward thou shalt eat and drink. Doth he thank the servant because he did the things that were commanded him? I trow not. Right? That's the point. Right? It says, so likewise ye, when ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants. We have done that which is our duty to do. Right? So you got to always have in your mind that you're an unprofitable servant. You're just doing what the Lord commanded you to do. Right? And you know the end reward of it, but you shouldn't be looking for stuff on the earth. Right? You shouldn't be looking for being known to man as this mighty brother or this mighty sister. Right? Look at it. Hey, I'm an unprofitable servant. Are you just doing humbly what the Lord want us to do? Right? That's what our forefathers did. That's what Yahweh Shai did. Right? You were servant unto your people. Right? Yahweh Shai said that somewhere in Matthew. I want to say Matthew 23 or Matthew 20 or Matthew 28. Somewhere. Right? But right, you want to make sure that you know that you're doing those things that's your duty to do. Right? You got to find your calling. Right? You got to find your gifts. Right? You got to test the spirit out and know what you got to do. Right, because hey, it's men out here. They don't want to be unprofitable servants. Right, they want to be servants of corruption. They want to be servants unto sin and unto the world. Right, like you had Demas. Right, he left. Right, watch it. Precept is that. Give me 1 second. I think it's 2 Timothy 4. Yeah. Right, you had Demas. Right, he left Paul. He forsook Paul and went back to the world. Right, because he loved the world. Right, he didn't want to take on the burdens of this truth no more. Right, he didn't want to do the work no more. Right, he didn't want to do that which was his duty, what he was called to do. Right, this is 2 Timothy. I'm gonna start at verse 9, 4 and verse number 9. Actually, I'm gonna start at verse number 5. It says, but watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. Right, so you got to watch in all things. You got to endure the afflictions, the temptations. You got to do the work. Right, you got to make full proof of the ministry. Right, you can't make full proof of the ministry if you fall away. Right, you can't make full proof of it. Right, because you didn't endure into the end. You didn't get the kingdom. Right, you didn't obtain nothing. Right, You getting ready to get put to death, right? Like the brother Wiz brought out. Right? It says, "For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith." Right? So you got to keep the faith, right? Fight that good fight. Right? It's going to be a lot of things that's ahead of you, but you got to be ready to fight it, endure it, right? And finish, right? It says, "Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord righteous shall judge. The Lord righteous judge shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto also them also that love his appearing." Right? So you gotta always remember, right? If you don't want to go back to the world, always remember that you got a crown of righteousness that's gonna be given to you in that day. Right? Remember that, if you do fall away, people gonna look at you a certain way. They're gonna be like, "Man, this brother fell out the truth. And this sister fell out the truth, and she's smoking weed again." Hey, and they gonna look at you as an example, right? Fear the Lord, so that you're not made like that, right? It says, "Do thy diligence, come shortly unto me, for Damas hath forsaken me, having loved this present world, and is departed unto Thessalonica, Crescens to Galatia, Titus unto Dalmatia." Right? So Damas, he's gonna always be remembered as a man that forsook Paul and left the truth because he loved the present world. Right? Always gonna be known as that in the scripture. So if you follow the truth, you choose the world. Hey, everybody's gonna remember that about you. Everybody gonna look at you like, "Damn, he loved this world." Damn, that's all they gonna say. "Damn, Lord willing that don't happen to us." That's what they gonna say. Right? So you gotta endure everything that comes with the truth, and make sure that you making your call and election short. Right? But you got it. Whoever got a precept.
You got some Wiz?
I got I just want to touch on what the brother Kazwan was saying. I got Mark chapter 4, right? And this is a parable from Yahushua, literally speaking on different types of people in the truth, right? It's Mark chapter 4 and verse number 14. "The sower soweth the word," right? And to not to be long-winded, right? The sower is Yahushua, right? He's sowing the word. If you read through the Gospels, hey, Yahushua's job was to go around and teach the people, right? Sometimes in parables, sometimes he taught them straight up and down, but in this case, it's a parable, right? I'm gonna keep going. Verse 15, "And these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts." Right? So this could be the people who maybe you learn at home, you got a parent or whoever is teaching you. And it sounds good at first, but then some type of worldly doctrine, a worldly person, or even a worldly desire, it kind of pull you out of that. You might hear, "Hey, I'm an Israelite," but you know what I'm saying? Hey, your friends think you lame, and that Satan immediately pulling you out of that. Now you a black man again, or now you a black woman again. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm gonna keep going. "And these are they likewise, which are sown on stony ground, who when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness." Right? So you might hear the word, you might hear, "Hey, I'm an Israelite," you know what I'm saying? Hey, Deuteronomy 28, hey, I'm under those curses, but and have no root in themselves, and so endure for a time. And we've experienced that, right, in our own camp, where a brother might be mighty for a couple of weeks, 2-3 months, 4-5 months, but then you just slowly start to see him get weary, right? It sounded good at first, but it's like these New Year's resolutions in the world, right? Everybody claim, "Hey, I'm gonna lose that 50 pounds this year." You know what I'm saying? On January 1st, I'm getting this Planet Fitness membership, and hey, I'm finna start working out. And they start by January 13th. They went from going to the gym 5 times a week, and only been there once this week. They went on a Wednesday for 30 minutes. You don't want to be like that in the truth, right? I'm gonna keep going. "And so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution ariseth for the word's sake, immediately they are offended." Right? Once you feel that, get that taste of being hated of all men, you don't really want to come to camp like that. You telling brothers that you going off, you moving, you being carnal. You know what I'm saying? When you got to get on the heat. or you know what I'm saying, somebody say something to you at camp while you teaching or while you reading that you uncomfortable with, you don't like. Now all of a sudden you dodging the brother's text. You know where to be found. You know what I'm saying? Because you in this thing because it felt good at first. But at that one moment where the Most High make it a little uncomfortable for you, all of a sudden you cutting and running. Right? I'm gonna keep going. And these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lusts of other things entering in, choketh the word, and it becometh unfruitful. These are the people who fall out of the truth. These are the brothers you see mighty. Hey, they on the videos like us right now. You know what I'm saying? They got the fringes on. They got the Mitri. They shaking the hand. And then, like the brother said, hey, now you see a video of them smoking weed on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Or now they they preaching completely against the doctrine that they was taught, that they was brought up on. You know, they might get now they want to be with Vocab Malone. You know what I'm saying? He offered them a little money to kind of be on his side. Not, hey, he ain't where the friend is no more. You know what I'm saying? He think, hey, we ain't under the law no more. Them type of things can really happen to you if you happen to be one of these seeds that's sown among thorns or sown on stony ground, or one of them seeds where Satan take it immediately from you, right? And I'm gonna finish this off. And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. These are the people who the Most High set up to not only come into the truth, but to stay in it, right? No matter how hard life get, you know what I'm saying? Your relationship with your family might be rocky, your relationship with your rib, your relationship with the camp, even your relationship with the Most High. You might feel like, man, I've been doing this, and that. I've been falling to my flesh in this way or that way. Man, I don't even know if the Most High dealing with me, but hey, I'm going to still go to camp. I'm going to still make sure I do the video. You still doing the work that you got to do. Hey, the Most High see that. Like the brother Shemawa was saying, the Most High is always watching what you're doing. Right? But with that, I yield.
I got an account if you ain't got one, Shemawa.
Okay, I got a couple. I ain't gonna be too long.
Go.
That's right though. You know, brothers come in this thing and it sound good, very sweet. I mean, this truth is very sweet, man. You know, you may come in this thing, you may be here for a while, and the Most High have it so sweet to you. Everything goes right. You know, you get a promotion and you entering all the feast days, you getting days off from your job, and next thing you know, the Most High show you like, let me see what you really about. Let me see if you really with me though. You know, okay, cool. I'll let you get this, but what about me? What you gonna give me? Soon as when stuff get tough, now you like, I don't really know, man. You start thinking about the world. You don't want to just be a hearer of the word, man. I'm gonna bring out James chapter 1 and verse 22, right? James chapter 1 and verse 22. It says, but be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. So like the brother was saying, you know, they hear this word and it's very sweet. They eat it up and yeah, but they not gonna cook the food, right? They not gonna want to do the work. They just hear it. They at camp, they you know saying con and doing this and that, but they're not really doing what they're supposed to do behind closed doors, right? They not really actually loving the Most High as they should, right? Reading on, be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. So, brothers, that's not being doers of the word. You're deceiving yourself, and the Most High sees that. Exactly why he already knew, like he already knew that was gonna happen. Yeah, and the Most High can make it real sweet. And then the thing is, you know, he tell us temptation is gonna come, right? Sirach chapter 2, verse 1. He tell us temptation is gonna come. He tell us we're gonna have to fight. It's not like he never heard it. I mean, that's not Christianity. You just go to church and then you eat pork in the basement, chill with grandma, and then you going about your day. And then you can celebrate all the holidays and do what you want to do, and nothing happens to you. The Most High literally told you that everything ain't gonna be sweet. You got to fight for this, man. This world we live in, I mean, it ain't sweet, and it's gonna get worse day by day. I got another precept, 2nd Esdras chapter 7 and verse 57. Right? 2nd Esdras chapter 7, verse 57. Because the Lord, I mean, you know, Jake, Eve, Christianity, they think that, you know, the Most High is just, he's just nothing but sweet words and smooth sayings and, you know, love me and everything will be all right. No, once you come in this thing, the Lord telling you, you're going to have to fight, brother. Satan desires to have you, right? This is the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 7 and verse 57. Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight. The Lord literally told us, hey, man, as soon as you was born, you will have to fight. We've been fighting since Noah. We've been fighting for years, man. But you come in this truth and thinking it's sweet. I mean, it can be sweet, but it can get bitter real quick, right? I yield with that.
Come on. And this whole chapter is fire. You know, I got a few points. I was going to go to this chapter right after you, right? I'm going to grab a few precepts out of here because this is a long chapter. I'm not going to read all of it, right? But I want to start at this precept. I think it's verse 9. Yep. Start at verse number 9. I'm starting at verse number 8. I'm going to start at verse number 7, right? And then I'm going to drop down, right? But this is verse 7. It says, the entrance thereof is narrow and set in a dangerous place to fall, right? So, you know, you entered into the truth, right? You got a straight and narrow path, right? But it's set in a dangerous place, right? Where you could fall, right? Which is, you know, the world, right? It says, like as if they were on fire, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left, a deep water, right? So you got fire right there, then you got water right next to you, right? So either way it go, you're either gonna burn up or you're gonna drown, right? It says, in one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. It says, if this, right, and that's just showing you know, don't depend on nobody else for your salvation, right? Make your call and election sure, right? It says so small that there couldn't but one man go there at once, right? So don't depend on a brother to, you know, read what you study, what you, right? You gotta, you know, keep the commandments for you, right? You gotta do what you gotta do, right? It says, if this city now were given unto a man for inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? Right. So if the Lord didn't choose to make, you know, if he didn't choose to try you and prove you, right, and you didn't go through no danger, right, how you gonna receive that inheritance? Right. The men that's not, you know, receiving this inheritance, right, are these wicked Israelites that never want to come into the truth, and these wicked Israelites that fall out of the truth. Right, they'll never receive that inheritance, right? Because they didn't want to go and pass the danger that was set before that beautiful city, right? It says, I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. Because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that is now done, right? And now I'm going to drop down. I think it's verse 54. Yeah, verse 54. Right. This is verse 50. I'm gonna start at verse 52. Right. It says, and that the glory of the Most High is kept to defend them which have led a weary life, whereas we have walked the most wicked ways of all, and that there should be showed a paradise whose fruit endureth forever, wherein is the security and medicine, sith we shall not enter into it. We have walked in unpleasant places. Right. You're gonna walk through you're gonna have unpleasant situations and times in while you on this earth, right? When you in this truth, right? It's gonna be time, like the brother was saying, right? The brother Wiz, right? Things not gonna always be comfortable. I believe that's what he was saying, right? But you know, you're gonna walk through unpleasant places. It's never gonna be easy, right? You're gonna feel like you're back against the wall. We were just talking about this the other day, me and brother Wiz, right? You're gonna feel like you're back against the wall, or you're gonna be feeling like you're just on the ground, and all you could do is look up. Right? That's all you can do is look up and get up and keep pushing forward. Right? Your back already against the wall. That's unpleasant, right? You just smushed up against the wall and you don't got no place to go, no room. Right? All you can do is continue to push. Right? Continue to trust the Lord and just say, hey, we going to endure. Right? We're not going to be of them that draw back. It says, and that the faces of them which have used abstinence shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. For while we lived, committed iniquity, we consider not that we should begin to suffer for it after death, right? Because you're gonna suffer for it, on this earth, right? You're gonna get judged on this earth, right? It's gonna happen, right? It says, then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle which man that is born upon the earth shall fight, right? So that's what the brother was going into, right? All the hell that you catch, all the temptations you battle, right? That's the condition of the battle, right? You was born upon the earth to fight this. I got one more precept after this, right? It says that if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say, right? So if you get overcome by this world and the cares of this world, like the brother Wiz was going into up in Mark the 4th chapter, you're gonna suffer. You're gonna suffer. You're gonna suffer death. Just put it like that, right? And that's plain, right? But if you get the victory, you're gonna receive all the inheritance and the promises that was given unto your forefathers and unto you essentially because you were Israelite, right? But I got one last precept, and brothers got it, right? Sirach chapter 40, and verse number 1. Right, this is Sirach 40 and verse 1. It says, great travail is created for every man, and a heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam from the day that they go out of their mother's womb to the day that they return to the mother of all things. Right, so it's always going to be some trouble. It's always going to be something going on. Right, you might just be down bad, and it's just always something happening one after another. Right, but you got to remember, hey, I'm in this truth. Right, it's going to get hard, and it's all the trying of my faith. Right. When you read James, the 1st chapter, it's all a test of my faith, right? To see if I'm gonna be patient and endure, or if I'm just gonna do my own thing and just say, forget the Lord, I could do it myself, and then you back in the world, right? But brothers,
I'm trying to get book of Hebrews chapter 11. Trying to find this. Book of Hebrews chapter 11 and verse number 24. Right. It says, by faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Right. So this is Moses really refusing to be in the world, to be respected in the world. Right. Think of the Pharaoh's daughter as being called the president's daughter, or the president's son. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine you'd rather just stay in that Section 8 apartment with your own people, suffering affliction, than to be living in the White House. You know what I'm saying? You got Secret Service bodyguards, you got you know what I'm saying, you got cameras, you got infrared lasers defending the place. You got the best food, you got the best transportation. I mean, you can ride on Air Force One. You ain't got to fly commercial on Delta, right? This is the life that Moses refused, right? And we're going to see why he refused it. Verse 25, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. He chose to suffer affliction. If you read the account of Moses, he was around during a time where the Israelites was in slavery for 400 plus years, right? You know what I'm saying? We had to really put ourselves in a mindset, make these scriptures realistic. He could have been a free man living in the palace with Pharaoh. I mean, this is Pharaoh. This is not a democracy. This is a straight up monarchy. Whatever Pharaoh say goes. And he could have been the son of the Pharaoh's daughter, right? Pharaoh would have been grandpa. But instead, he chose to suffer affliction with his own people. He chose to be denied multiple times by this all-powerful Pharaoh, when the Most High was sending him to tell the Pharaoh, hey, let my people go. You know? And we got to move that same way, right? We can't allow the cares of this world, like I went into earlier in Matthew chapter 4, to pull us out of the truth. Because it's easy. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest. It's way easier to just go back into the world. It's way easier when you going through it, when you having them temptations to smoke weed like you used to. It's way easier to just call the weed man, get a 3-5 and roll it up. But what's not easy is to pray to the Most High, like, man, you know what I'm saying? I know I ain't supposed to be doing this thing. I'm trying to do what pleases you. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna deal with this temptation I'm going through. That's the hard part, right? I'm gonna read verse 25 again. It's Hebrews 11:25. Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Kazwan, can you pull up the definition of affliction? Baba Kasha.
In the blue letter or just blue?
Just the definition. It don't matter. Because affliction is a powerful word to use.
Can you see it, or you want me to read it?
Read it for me.
This is affliction. It says cause of persistent pain or distress.
The cause of persistent pain. This is not a headache that went away 3-4 hours later after it first came on to you. This is from the time you come into the truth to the time, Lord willing, you get delivered. When the things befall us in the last days. Persistent pain. This is something that you cannot get rid of. Persistent pain is you've been celebrating Christmas with your family for 30 years. And now this year you got to tell them, hey, you know what I'm saying? I can't come to the Christmas party. You know what I'm saying? You got a new iPhone every year. You got a trip to Disney World every year. And now you got to tell, nah, you know what I'm saying? We can't deal with Christmas. Because Yahweh Bashim Yahushua said, be not dismayed at the customs of the heathen. I can't celebrate my birthday because that's an Egyptian custom. Leviticus 18:3 say I can't do that. Right? That's a persistent pain to go against everything you've been taught. You know what I'm saying? Hey, as a man, being attracted to women, it's a persistent pain to have to tell yourself, nah, gay's not on the maid. Nah, that woman married. I can't do that. There's a pain in that. It's easy to go ahead and do what you was taught to do. You know what I'm saying? There's a persistent pain in going out in the cold, teaching people at camp who don't want to hear nothing you got to say. But you keep doing it. That's a persistent pain. Now, remedies to that pain, hey, go back into the world. You know what I'm saying? Hey, when you was working on a Saturday, hey, it wasn't no Sabbath in the world. You know what I'm saying? You get that good 8 hours of overtime, get that extra 150, 200 on your check. That was easy. Now, go through having financial issues and hey, your job got 8 hours of overtime for you on the Sabbath day, which is Saturday, and you tell them, nah, I can't do that. The Lord said I can't. That's affliction. You know, a affliction is when your rib bounce out on you and you still go to camp that same week. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand what our forefathers and our foremothers was doing. They was going through actual affliction. Their affliction wasn't just getting fired from a job. Their affliction was, I'm going to turn down literally upper class lifestyle, Bentleys and Maseratis and mansions to go stay in a cardboard box with my own people, with the people of God. And you got to really ask yourself, can I do that? You have to really be honest with yourself. Am I ready for that? Can you pull up Sirach chapter 2? If you can. If not, I'll read it. And this is a classic precept we bring out any time that we can, but it's a classic for a reason because it's straight up and down. It's telling you what to expect. You can start from verse number 2, if you can read it for me.
I think he's doing some. You want me? I'll read it for you.
Verse 1, Salaki. Verse 1, yeah, read it for me.
Right, Sirach chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
Prepare thy soul for temptation. It didn't say prepare your mind. It didn't say prepare your body. It went so deep as to say prepare your soul for temptation. The things that tempt you deep down, prepare yourself for that. And what tempts you might not tempt the next person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not tempted by eating pork. You know, that's not my temptation. My temptation might be something else. But for you, eating pork might be like, I mean, it might vex you. You know, Christmas time coming around, you used to having that ham with that nasty pineapple on it. Christmas party, you might be thinking like, man, I know grandma. I know she cooked that ham to perfection. And you might have to literally battle that temptation. But it say, my son, if you come to serve the Lord, you got to expect that. You got to prepare for it. You know? But with that, I yield. I don't want to be too long-winded.
I got one quick point on what he was going into in Hebrews, right? Because our people, right, the Moses didn't want to be in Egypt, right? That's like you not wanting to be in the world, right? But the rest of the people, when they got into the wilderness and they had to endure temptations and afflictions, they wanted to go back to Egypt, right? This is verse 26. Hebrews 11 and 26, it says, esteeming the reproach of Christ's greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. Right. So Moses, he knew what it took. He thought of the reward that came with suffering that affliction instead of enjoying the pleasures of sin. Right. He knew that it was a kingdom flowing with milk and honey, right, and a great inheritance, right, of a great kingdom. Right, if he would have just endured, right, but the rest of our people they didn't think that, right? They just wanted to stay in Egypt, right? It's more on this, right? It says, by faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible, right? And that's what you got to do. By faith, you got to forsake America. By faith, you got to forsake the world, not fearing what man gonna say. Not fearing if you're gonna be the elephant in the room, right? The oddball out, right? You gotta endure, right? So you can get that reward, right? Now I want to go to that in Numbers real quick to show you our people. They basically wanted to be in the world. I think it's number 16. I was just reading it.
It'll be 11.
It's 11. Numbers 11.
Yeah, you can start at verse 4.
Yeah.
Huh. Numbers 11 for sure.
Yeah, I'll go to that one. Yeah, I'm gonna go to that one. Right. This is Numbers 11 and 4. It says, in the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting, and the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away, and there is nothing at all besides this manna before our eyes. Right? That's what our people do when they in the truth now. That's what they start. That's how your mindset get to being. Right? You start to reminisce on the world. You like, man, I remember when I could smoke that blunt without being judged about it. Man, I remember when I could go and crack any female. Right? You a single brother, you might be like, hey, I remember I could go crack any female I wanted to do. Can't do it no more though. Right? Hey, you like, man, my soul just can't take it anymore. Right? You just start thinking like that. Right? And that's why you start to fall away. Right? A lot of these people, they died in the wilderness. Right? And America is that wilderness nowadays. Right? You're going to die in this wilderness if you get this spirit upon you. Right? So think like Moses and like your forefathers that's, going to obtain all the, the glory. Right? But I yield.
Yeah, man. Israel was really we was, freaking off, man, in our mind thinking about Egypt. But that's somebody count, because I mean Moses did not want to be in Egypt, man. He didn't want to be called ultimately Satan's son. Because when you indulge in this world, you Satan's kids, man. Right? Nieces and nephews. Right? The only thing that was in Egypt was what? Because if he was there, all he would have got was the same thing we have today: money, clothes, right? Shoes. The sandals, right? All type of chariots, right? You know what I'm saying? Like they would have been, and on a camel with the leather on it, just so he can have some cushion. I mean, and in today's world, that's what, I ain't know really know too much about cars, but he would have had a nice little Lexus or something, leather seat interior. That's what Jake lust after, right? I'm gonna bring out Luke chapter 16. I'm gonna bring out Luke chapter 16. I got a couple of precepts. Luke chapter 16, right? Because if Moses rather chose to be in Egypt and not suffer affliction with God's people, I mean, clearly he wants the thing that's highly esteemed in his world, and that's the material things in his world, right? This is the book of Luke chapter 16 and verse 15. And he said unto them, ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but Yahweh knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of the Most High. So the Most High don't care about all this stuff in his world, the things that man care about: shoes, cars, clothes, a big house. Jake want a big house with 6 bathrooms. Bro, you only need 1 bathroom. He wants 7 bedrooms. You only need 1 bedroom and 1 bed. Why right? You may be suffering affliction. You may want your own house. I speak personally for me, man. I honestly, you know what I'm saying? 29 years old, I don't have my own crib, but I have a roof over my head. I still got food. I still got money in my pocket. I got brothers. Like, I mean, why you coveting at the things that the Most High really don't care about? You want to see if you're going to serve him, but you thinking about the things that's highly esteemed in his world. You lusting not for Jordans, the same shoes that come out every year. It's just a different color. And even if they change the number on it, it's still the same shoe. But just because the next shoe, it has a different material on it, but it's the same shoe. Well, it's supposed to last longer. But our forefathers wasn't even able to have, at the time, they probably couldn't able to get sandals, bro. They was outside barefoot, trying to get sticks to stay warm at night. But you weren't about shoes. You weren't about what you're going to eat tomorrow. The birds don't think about that. Lions don't think about what they're going to eat tomorrow. They had to go hunt for it. Our forefathers had to go hunt for it, but you were lusting out after of it. Like, that's off, man. All right, I'm gonna bring out Salaki, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 14. Because what are you missing in this world? It's nothing in this world. I tell myself that every day, and most are willing, I get to say that in my mind when we get off this live. It's nothing in this world, man. It's like literally nothing in this world. Like, what are you missing? I mean, all hell breaking loose. World War III can start like what, next week? We don't know. The Most High could just be like, yup, it's time. The next thing you know, all hell breaking loose. Right? It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 14. It says, for by the vain glory of men, they entered into the world. So you got brothers lusting after fame, vain glory, right? You in this truth, and you thinking about women. Man, women don't even like me. Man, they don't even want me. They don't even like me because I wear these fringes, man. So now you want that vain glory. The homies that you used to kick it with in the world, you see them get all these shoes and the cars. You see them all with all the women, and you miss that. So what you do? Take your fringes off, put on a AI jersey and a do-rag and a headband, going off, trying to, to lock in no folly, but trying to, trying to look right and impress Eve. The Most High, that's an abomination to the Most High. He don't care about that. And now You end up going broke by buying material things, right? End up getting jammed up. Then you end up gonna get an Eve, and next thing you know, you got something that you can't get rid of. Now you're in the hospital. What's that movie of 50 Cent? Now you're in that movie when he lost all that weight, thought he was gonna get a reward for it. Now you in the hospital, skinny as I don't know what, just because you was lusting after Eve. It's off, man. Now you can't get rid of it, man. I yield with that. That's off.
I got a quick reset. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. First time. Right, this is the book of First Timothy, chapter 4, and verse number 13. Right, it says, "Till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. Neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy, which the laying on of the hands by the presbytery." Right, so you got to give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. Right, and you can't neglect this truth. Right, this truth is it should be you should look at it as a gift, because everybody don't get it. Everybody don't get wisdom, knowledge, understanding. They get the wisdom of this world, but hey, the Lord said that's foolishness. When you read 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter. All right, so don't neglect it by not reading, not fasting, not studying, not giving brotherly love, not doing charity, hating your brother, right, and just not wanting to serve the Lord. Right, that's how you neglect it. Right, it says, "Meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly to them, that thy profiting may appear to all." Right, and if you meditating upon all this stuff and you giving yourself wholly to this truth, right? Hey, all that increase and that fire that's building up in you, it's gonna appear unto everybody, man. Because you're gonna start being a light unto people. Right? That's why the Lord wants us to be a light. Right? Everybody could see the light. Nobody cares about darkness. They attracted the light. Right? So your profit ain't gonna appear if you giving yourself wholly to the Lord. It says, "Take heed unto thyself and unto doctrine, and continue in it. For in doing this, thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear thee." And that should be your goal, right? To save yourself and save your brothers and sisters out of this wicked world, right? So that they're not caught up in it and get choked up and die, right? Because your forefathers is doing the same thing, right? They served the Lord wholly, right? Let's go to Numbers 32, right? Caleb, right? And Joshua. Right, this is Numbers chapter 32 and verse number 12. "Save Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, and Joshua the son of Nun, for they have wholly followed the Lord." Right, you have to wholly follow the Lord, right? Because if you don't, his anger gonna be kindled up against you, like the rest of the children of Israel in the wilderness. And he's gonna have to end you, or he's gonna have to kill you, right? He's gonna have to get rid of you, replace you with somebody else. And they're gonna be way more fruitful than you, right? It says, "And the Lord's anger was kindled against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years until all the generation that had done evil in the sight of the Lord was consumed." Right, so he had to go and consume wicked and rotten men, right, and preserve all the righteous men and women. Right, I got one more precept, and brothers got it. Right, because that's what's gonna happen to this world. Everybody that follow the truth and obviously they don't come into it, it's gonna be a horrible end to that. Right? This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3. Let me start at verse 15. It says, "For glorious is the fruit of good labors, and the root of wisdom shall never fall away." Right? So you're gonna have a glorious reward, right? Glorious everything, right? If you laboring, right? It says, "As for the children of adulterers, they shall not come to their perfection, and the seed of the unrighteous bed shall be rooted out. For though they live long, yet shall they be nothing regarded, and their last age shall be with honor. Or if they die quickly, they have no hope, neither comfort in the day of trial. For horrible is the end of the unrighteous generation." Right? We see in the unrighteous generation, it's gonna be a horrible end with nukes, famine, pestilence, damn rapes and robberies and murders, right? It's gonna get worse and worse out here, right? For the unrighteous generation. And Lord willing, none of us on this live is caught up in that, or anybody watching this, because you don't want to end up like the men that forsook the Lord, and the people that rejected the Lord, right? But you, Brother Scott.
I just wanted to go in my last point. I really wanted to touch off what the brother Shema Wall was saying about coveting after things in this world and all that stuff, because that's all that's shown to us, right? Especially in our community. I mean, if you listen to the music, you know, you'll be 19 years old feeling like you might as well just delete yourself because you don't got a Maybach yet, or you don't got a Scat Pack and all these different things. Hey, you just graduated high school a year ago, you know? Or hey, you might be a woman out here, you 20, 21 years old. Hey, the world is increasing, is so like it's influencing you to follow after all of these stripper rappers and these reality TV show stars who, hey, they doing all type of madness in the sight of the Lord, right? And it might confuse you. It might even entice you to go into these things, right? But I want to read 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse number 6. It says, "But godliness with content is great gain." You know, so godliness, keeping the commandments, keeping the faith in Yahweh Shai. Hey, one day I got a savior coming back to save me. As long as I do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? As long as I dress modestly as a woman, you know, as long as I um make sure that I don't eat the pork, as long as I keep my fringes on, you know. Hey, maybe it's this outfit that would have went cold, but hey, it ain't. I ain't got fringes on that shirt. That shirt is not 100% one material. That's going against the law of the Most High. I can't do that, right? Godliness with contentment, being okay with what you do have, and like the brother Shema was always saying, like sometimes I gotta check myself. You know, hey, it was one time, man. I ain't gonna say who the person was, but hey, I was staying in their basement. You know, and as a grown man, I can't. You know, we men up here, it's certain things that we want to do when we at home chilling. Hey, I had to come home from work being uncomfortable to being uncomfortable in the same place I lay my head. You feel what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I got a place to lay my head, because I was just hearing a story, and this is just going into contentment. A woman out here in Milwaukee, she died. It was a Monday. It was like -10 degrees outside. I remember that day because my car was barely starting, and I guess she tripped and fell or something on a bus stop, hit her head. She was around 50 years old, and they said she died face down in the snow. -10 degree weather. They said she was out there for an hour. People driving past, they didn't call the police, they didn't call 911. That's how the Most High had her to go out. You know what I'm saying? And even now, that was a week and a half ago. They still haven't figured out what happened to her. They haven't announced the cause of death, anything, right? Like this woman was just nothing. And I have to understand in my heart, hey, that could be me. You know what I'm saying? The Most High could have left me out in the world to go out like that. And for the people who don't live in places where it can become below zero outside, hey, listen, that's not a slight thing. You know what I'm saying? Having heat in your house, that's not a slight thing. It was another person that died in Milwaukee. They said he died laying over a heating device. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of the street. These are things that happen, right? Something as simple as heat, we can neglect that. Something as simple as having drinking water, clean drinking water, that you don't have to walk 20 miles for, and it still got parasites in it. You know, having a change of clothes. Hey, man, we done seen people at camp. I mean, for a year straight, they got the same outfit on. They got holes in their clothes. Their pants barely stand up. Their hair all matted together. You know, brothers my color, but they almost dark skinned because their face is so dirty. They don't have a shower. They out there begging for quarters. And what can a quarter get you in this economy? You know? But I'm gonna finish this off in verse 7. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. and having food and raiment, let us be there with content, right? So all of these things that are esteemed above the clouds, like the brother was saying earlier, you know what I'm saying? The cars, the sandals or the shoes. Can you take that into the kingdom with you? Can you take that scat pack that you paying $800 a month on with 20% interest? Can you take that into the kingdom? Is that going to get you closer to the Most High? Is that going to allow you to escape the famine that's coming? World War III, that's, hey, at this point, we can almost say that it's already happening, you know? Or can you just be godly and be content with what you have? Be content with the woman that you have. You know, J. Cole got the song, hey, love yours. Love what you got. You know, don't look at this brother woman, which is a sin, by the way, and think, man, I could have a woman like that. Or look at this brother car, hey, I could have a car like that. Or look at this for Eve. Don't look at this woman purse. Hey, I could get a purse like that. You know what I'm saying? I can get as many likes as her. What does that have to do with what's important? What's important is being godly. What's important is keeping the commandments. But with that, I yield.
I ain't got none. If brothers got closing precepts.
I got one. I got two actually, but I'm gonna keep it short.
Khan, you got it. I don't got no closing precept.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 16. Right? Proverbs 15, verse 16. Because, just to finish off, that little point. I mean, the Most High knows what's beneficial for you. He knows what you need. He knows you don't need a lot. He knows you don't need a little. It's just right, just balanced, right? Proverbs chapter 15, verse 16. Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. So if you want all these riches and whatever it is, it's going to come with great trouble, man, because you're going to end up freaking off with that. The Lord knows if he give you 10 racks, 20 racks, whatever it is, or a car, a nice car, right? A brand new car, you might end up driving to an Eve that you don't need to drive to. You might end up going somewhere you don't need to be. You may be at the wrong place at the right time. Just because that's just, you're going to end up being at a wrong situation, just to close out on that. And I got another precept too. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse. I'm going to start at Proverbs, do justice, man. Proverbs chapter 4, I'll start at 12. When thou goest, thy steps shall not be straitened, and when thou runnest, thou shalt not stumble. Take fast hold of instruction, let her not go. Keep her, for she is thy life, right? Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil man. So hold fast to wisdom, right? The wisdom of the Most High. Hold fast to the commandments that she give you, right? Because she is your life, man. This is our life, right? The Most High literally telling you, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil man. Because in the world, it's nothing but evil man, right? It's nothing but a place of just evil. And the Most High clearly tell you, don't go that way, right? I yield with that.
I ain't got no closing precept. But
Khan.
that, gonna do all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Mashiach, Malak Yahweh Shai. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.